What if the biggest star made a secret return, not for fame, but for a desperate plea? Dylan Wang is back, but not in the way anyone imagined. This is not a carefully orchestrated comeback tour. This is not flashing cameras and cheering fans. No, this is a silent, almost invisible return, shrouded in mystery, driven by something far deeper than fame or applause. It is a desperate attempt at forgiveness, and the fallout from it is something you will not believe. The story begins in the quiet of the night, where Dylan Wang, the superstar whose face has graced billboards across the world, slips through the streets unnoticed. His usual entourage, the protective bubble of bodyguards and fans, is gone. There are no red carpets, no flashing lights, no screaming crowds. Only the hushed steps of a man determined to make things right. For weeks, rumors had swirled about his disappearance. Fans speculated, tabloids invented stories, but the truth was far more personal, far more intense than anyone could imagine. Dylan's destination was not a studio, nor a high-profile event, nor even the home of a co-star with whom he had a scandalous history. He was heading to a place where no cameras could follow, no headlines could touch him, where the raw heart of regret and guilt could meet the person he had wronged the most. And that, for Dylan Wang, was more terrifying than any stage he had ever stood upon. No one knew exactly what had happened in the months prior. The world had witnessed his sudden withdrawal, a silence that fueled gossip and speculation. Some said he had been heartbroken. Others claimed he was hiding a secret so dangerous that even his closest friends dared not speak of it. But the truth, as it always is, was buried under layers of human emotion. His secret return was not about public perception. It was about confronting the consequences of choices that had left scars far deeper than the public eye could see. The first shocking scene unfolded in a small, almost forgotten neighborhood, a place Dylan had once known as a sanctuary before fame and fortune consumed him. The streets were quiet, bathed in the soft glow of streetlights, and he moved like a shadow, careful not to disturb the fragile calm. He approached a modest house, one that seemed ordinary to the passerby, but to Dylan, it held memories that clawed at his chest, memories of laughter that had turned into silence, moments of trust that had been broken. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation, tension that could be cut with a knife. The person he had come to see sensed his presence even before he spoke, a subtle shift in the air, a recognition that this was a moment that could not be avoided. Dylan stood at the threshold, a figure both familiar and changed, a man stripped of celebrity and left only with vulnerability. His voice, when it finally came, trembled not with fear, but with an urgent need for reconciliation. Words poured out, fragments of apologies and explanations, unfiltered and raw, each one heavy with the weight of months spent in silence and reflection. What happened next was unlike anything the public could have anticipated. The confrontation was not explosive in the traditional sense. There was no shouting or dramatics. Instead, it was an emotional collision, a slow unraveling of everything unsaid. Tears were shed, not as a spectacle, but as an authentic expression of regret and longing. Dylan Wang, the global superstar, was reduced to a man begging for forgiveness, a man whose greatest stage was not a theater, but the fragile heart of another human being. And the reactions that followed were nothing short of mind-blowing. Close friends who had watched from the sidelines described the scene as surreal. People who had assumed Dylan was untouchable, aloof, or indifferent, were forced to confront a side of him they had never seen. Vulnerability had become his new performance, humility his act of courage, and the sincerity of his plea left even the most skeptical witnesses shaken. This was not just a personal journey. It was a ripple effect that extended far beyond the walls of that quiet house. Messages began to leak. Subtle hints of his return appeared online, stirring speculation and urgency among fans and the media alike. But even as the world scrambled to decode every post, every cryptic image, Dylan remained focused on his mission, undistracted by fame or curiosity. His goal was singular, absolute, and profound: forgiveness. As the hours stretched into the night, the intensity of the encounter deepened. Old wounds reopened, memories resurfaced, but for the first time in months, there was movement toward healing. The person Dylan had wronged listened, questioned, demanded truth, and in return, received honesty, raw and unfiltered, from a man who had spent too long hiding behind charm and celebrity. There were moments of silence, heavy with unspoken understanding, and moments of vulnerability that felt like confession, moments that left an indelible mark on both hearts involved. By dawn, Dylan Wang emerged from the house not as the invincible star the world knew, but as a human being forever altered by the intensity of this secret return. His mission, though not fully complete, had reached a pivotal point. Forgiveness, he realized, was not instantaneous. It was a process, a dance between vulnerability and acceptance, between remorse and the willingness to make amends. And he was ready to embrace it, no matter how long it took. The secrecy of his return, the desperate plea, and the emotional chaos it unleashed are a reminder that even the brightest stars face darkness, and sometimes, the hardest journey is not toward fame, but toward redemption. Dylan Wang's story is far from over. It is a narrative of courage, of confronting the past, and of understanding that forgiveness, once earned, can illuminate even the darkest corners of human experience. So the next time you hear of a star vanishing from the spotlight, remember that not all disappearances are escapes from life. Some are journeys toward understanding, toward healing, and toward a desperate, silent plea for forgiveness that the world may never fully witness. Dylan Wang's secret return is one such story, a testament to the power of sincerity, the weight of regret, and the human heart's relentless quest for redemption. What drove Dylan Wang to take such an extreme step, to face a confrontation that could have destroyed him emotionally and publicly? The answer lies in the unseen moments, the quiet intensity of his return, and the emotional truth that sometimes, fame cannot shield you from the consequences of your choices. This is not a tale of celebrity antics. This is a story of human fragility, courage, and the lengths one will go for a chance at forgiveness. And as the world waits for the next headline, for the next viral video, Dylan Wang continues his journey quietly, determined, focused, and infinitely human. This is the hidden truth behind his shocking return, a story more compelling than any performance, more riveting than any scandal, and more heart-wrenching than any public drama. Dylan Wang's secret return is not just news. It is a lesson in humility, in facing what you fear most, and in understanding that the path to redemption is often silent, unseen, and unforgettable.